and welcome, family, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways, and that you're opening yourself up to take advantage of this miraculous season we're in, a season that will not end, a season that's just beginning. And I thought I'd come and just make you aware, give you a heads up. Remember, we don't report all the news, family, but we definitely do pick certain narratives that show a true depiction of what is going on, because there's so much distraction, there's so much that's being hidden, there's so many lies out there. They want to keep people asleep, unaware, unawakened, distracted, always on some kind of tabula, just always channeling this special energy into that, when you need to be looking up to the skies. You need to be looking towards the ocean. You need to be looking at the birds and seeing, what are the birds doing? Are the birds still acting normal, or is something coming in? You know, the reason I always do my show outside is because these plants are living. These are living things, family. And, you know, they offer a very powerful spiritual and psychic and energetic of, defense, just me being among all these plants, but those are stories for other days. So just really expand. This is such an exciting time. The thing you see happening in movies and all of that you can live that. Like, it's so exciting to discover yourself, to build anew, etc., etc. So really just make sure that you're moving into your own narrative as much as possible. As I was saying, family, about only doing certain stories. Right now, there's a drought going on in Europe, family. Like, the divided kingdom had to call a drought in certain cities because it's become so dry. Germany, like the main river, which is like the River Rhine, has dried up to, like, cargo can't be taken from the top to the bottom. I mean, look at these pictures. Portugal, Spain, like half of Europe is in a drought-like situations. Droughts were things we used to hear happening in Africa. And what they fear now is, after the drought will come, because they're expecting rain, the rain will now be even too heavy and will cause like crazy, crazy floods. But this is year one of the new cycle, family. This is year one. And look how much Europe is being bombarded. And it's not about global warming. It could be about climate change. It's a spiritual cleansing from Mama Earth. And then if the summers are this dry, then the winter is going to be extremely cold. I hope those of you who are able are moving, and those of you who are not, really, you need to be totally self-sufficient, family, because it will reach a point, all the kind of delicacies of Babylon, all the things you enjoy about Babylon, that you can just call 911 and someone will come to your rescue. They'll send this, they'll send that. It's not going to be available anymore. It's going to be a lot of fending for themselves. I mean, a lot of these European countries, their infrastructure has taken a beating, family. And this is just year one of like the real manifestation of Mama Earth cleansing herself. There's so much that also there's so many narratives they tried to keep quiet about, the crazy floods that are happening all over the world and all these things. But drought in Europe, family, that time is here. Mama Earth is really cleansing herself. Avoid those cities. Those are like death traps, family. And they're also saying that the Arctic is melting, like, they're saying 4 times faster than they had predicted. And it's actually worrying them. And water is emotion. Rivers are spirits, family. That Rhine River is a spirit. The Thames River is a spirit. Water is a spirit, and it's, the water nation deals with emotion. The feelings, but the feelings, give the energy. The energy is directed because of the feelings, however you want to look at it. So what does it mean that the water is drying up in Europe? It's like now water is going to become, nature is going to become the biggest threat to Europe. And that's what a lot of the scientists were saying. Is like the threat of climate change is bigger than the threat of any war or anything. That's not it's not climate change. It's the threat of Mama Earth, who is living, who is a living, breathing being. that we honor and praise that we can come and be part of her existence and her reality. So pay attention, family. Pay attention. If you're a melanated being, at least be returning somewhere home. Be as much as possible off grid. If you're not off grid, be close to a village somewhere. But because this is year one of this crazy weather and this crazy consciousness and cleansing and shift that's happening. This is year one. And a drought in Europe now just heralds very difficult times in the near and distant future. Like Europe is going into some very, very tricky times, family. They were talking about how I think some of the water reserves, was it in Spain or something, are like 30% below what is usually their lowest reserves or something like that. Like they're panicking without panicking. Pay attention. And some of you feel like you need to be where you are or whatever. So what I would say is ask spirit where you need to be. Because if you need to be remaining where you are, maybe to hold the energy in that city or town or whatever, then spirit will make it an easy process for you. And before the town goes down, you'll be relocated. But a lot of you are not supposed to be where you are right now. And that's why a lot of us, with our continued awakening, we've noticed a shift. But you need to figure out where you need to be right now. Because I had a dream when I was back in the different violence. I was like, no, I don't even have a passport right now. Well, what are you going? What? But what will I do if the Most High requires my energy there? I'm just saying, I'm not planning to go. Family, I don't have a passport or anything, but I'm just saying, like, we have to be really sensitive to spirit now. We're in spiritual time. I think I said that like in 2020, we've moved on to spiritual time now, where we have to be getting our instructions purely from our spiritual team about what's coming next, because everyone's lying. Majority of the people don't know what's going on. The majority of the people who are trying to tell us what's going on have no idea, because they don't have the consciousness on that level to really understand. That's why the whole return of the Messiah, the return of our ancestors, the return of our ancient ones has always been made this spooky thing. That's why they gave you a white Jesus, so that when the black aliens return, you'll freak out. When the true Messiah returns and you see it's a black man, you'll try to attack him. I mean, that's why they've created all of this. So you have to now, like, as much as you can, family, you have to be your own judge of vibration, of people, of situations, of news. And that's why you can't be in front of the screens all the time. Get into nature so that nature can recharge you, recalibrate you, and redirect you, so that even if you are on those screens or those tabs, because some of us have to be, that's the front line we're on. It's like, the computer screens, because we have to share information, etc., and we have to gather our people. But it's like then there's a demand for you to also be outside. Otherwise, that energy will totally drain you, because it's like you're here, you've reached here, and then you just have to come here and release some information. It doesn't mean you can't go down. But who wants to stay in the basement? So family, let me end this, because I can see the wind is now, trying to misbehave or whatever. A drought is coming to Europe. Look up what is happening with the weather. And all this stuff has made me start to think, what's the real reason they turned on this collider? Was it to try and create rain themselves? Was it to, because family would connect to a parallel universe? Because you see, what we can do with our minds, they need machines to do it. What our ancestors did, I can't even speak, what our ancestors did by coming together. Check out the video I just did on This Is How We Get Out of This Hellhole, where they came together and they consciously shifted themselves out of this timeline. They have created this machine to try and do that, to try and crack open like the universe by force and like shift them into another timeline. But they're making moves. The most elite among them have bunkers. You can see the YouTube, the $500,000 bunker, or whatever it is, $50 million, where they have pools and libraries and a restaurant and a feeling of being outside. They're not moving around, Mars and all these things. That's a whole other story I don't like to get into. But they're making plans on how they're going to try and survive this. And they're going to leave the majority of their people to just suffer and, take the fall, because they don't have room for everyone. They don't have the consciousness for everyone. So you should be making plans too. If you want, just do abnormal weather. Google abnormal weather, YouTube abnormal weather. And look at some of the shows that show like all the floods and everything that are going on. We're in some serious times for them, but some very blessed times for us. It all depends on where you're aligning yourselves, family. Don't put yourself in hell from a position of heaven. Tuko pamoja. So many of us have made transformational changes in the last 2 years in our lives. Many of us have relocated. Many of us have moved out of old relationships, old cities, old ways of being, old careers, and we find ourselves in very new environments, both internally and externally. And one of the greatest requests that I get from you guys all the time is, do I know of people of like mind, people of like consciousness, people who are also searching or on their awakening journey in your communities, who you can get together with, who you can reason together with, because you almost need that support system to create your own narrative. And it's something that I actually didn't even fully understand the value of it until I moved to the little village, which I feel is my final destination for now. And I've met so many people, healers, people who are in the new industry here. And one of the things is there is like a conscious community, but one of the things is I moved here to hang out with one of my friends. Well, not hang out really, but to kind of, I was spiritually drawn here, but she was already here, and she's a healer, a womb healer, etc., a whole other story. And through her, I met another conscious family who do only organic farming from heirloom seeds. And through her, I met other community members, and I found it so important in terms of anchoring me into my new narrative. And so I really would love it if we could create communities across the motherland and across wherever melanated people are across the world, family. We are willing to coordinate that here and kind of see where it goes. So if you'd be interested in something like this, definitely email me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. And we're just going to start by, putting people in touch, maybe creating WhatsApp groups, etc., Oh my gosh, it's raining. So definitely consider joining us, family. Tuko pamoja.